Hello and welcome to Access Sportsnet. Lakers brought to you by your Toyota dealers. We make it easy. Chris McGee alongside Robert Horry, James Worthy. We have Mike Trudell down at the arena. For the second year in a row, the Charlotte Hornets beat the Lakers in L.A. They get blown away as the Hornets caught fire. They made 20 threes, shot 46% from beyond the arc, 54% for the game from the field. They had 3 players, Rob, with 25 or more, and don't count out the rookie Knuppel, who had 19. But for me, this game was kind of lost in that second quarter. Lakers were outscored 34-16. Remember, they had an early 13-point lead. They led by 9 at the end of the first. But the Hornets, from that point on, they got the confidence. They attacked them. 56 points in the paint. They also out-rebounded the Lakers by 15.
Yeah, you think about that second quarter where we talked about the rope-a-dope. They were doing the rope-a-dope, then they came with that haymaker in that second quarter, and it just kind of stunned the Lakers. After that, it was all Hornets. And for me, you know, when you look at a team like this, I said it before this game started, that they beat OKC. So you can't take this team for granted because they're a young, talented team. They got a lot of energy. They got a lot of great athletes who can really shoot the rock. And you think about how Miles Bridges started this game off, you know, perfect. And that he kind of kept them afloat just enough for them to come alive and start knocking down threes. Think about that. 100 points between 4 players. That's incredible.
Yeah, well, I forgot about that. OKC victory.
You know, I didn't think they had, you know, this kind of firepower, you know, especially on the road. But even though they didn't outscore the Lakers on fast break points, I think Charlotte had 17, it was still the pace. It was the pace just getting up and down the floor. Even though they didn't score, it kept the Lakers at that pace. But then, you know, we seem to run into that 3-ball every other game, it seems like 20. And not, you know, and I think sometimes the pace got them back on defense, but then they were still getting those threes. And so it was just tough to watch. And then individually, they got young, talented with with Ball. He's just, you know, just dissecting the defense. And next thing you know, they got a 15, 14-point lead.
I think Ball only had 2 points at halftime.
3 points at half.
3 points.
He had 15 in the third quarter. He ended up with 30. And I'm going to show you this because it is, and it was, the 4 young guys for this Charlotte team that did most of the damage, if not all. 100 points between the 4 players. 19 threes between the 4 players. Ball with 30, Miller with 26, Knuppel, the rookie, with 19, and Miles Bridges with 25, Rob.
Yeah, you're talking about sharing the rock. Look at that. Each one of those guys had, you know, double-digit shots, you know, and they were very efficient. You know, you look at that, 9 for 13, 7 for 10, 9 for 19, 9 for... Those guys were shooting the ball tonight. And when you get young bucks like this who get on a roll, you can't stop them because, number 1, they're faster than you. Number 2, they're more athletic than you. And they pick up the pace like James says. When you watch the pace of this game, even though there's no fast break, they move the ball. They want to get down, set it up, because once you got you on your heels, what they love to do, like that player right there, you know, that's just great basketball. You know, even though you look at it like, what the heck is he doing? Next thing you know, he's knocking down shots. But the Charlotte Hornets, that's the way they play. They like to play like that old Denver team you mentioned earlier, frenetic, up and down, get a lot of shots. But when they making them, this is what's going to happen. But the problem is with this team is they're very inconsistent. When they're consistent, this is what happens. But now they probably go off and lose about 6 games in a row because of that inconsistency that they shows all the time.
And James, they've been in L.A. since Sunday. They played the Clippers on Monday, and they've been chilling and waiting all the way here until Thursday, and they took advantage of it. In that second quarter, when the Lakers got really stagnant on offense, they were taking a lot of off-balance shots, no offensive rebounds. It was Charlotte that attacked, and the way they attacked them was getting into the paint, getting easy buckets, and then it opened everything else for 3, and when they were hot, couldn't stop them.
Yeah, that seems to be the prototype NBA players now. You know, yeah, you have your superstars, but then those teams that have multiple players, like you just had on that graphic, you know, like 4 players getting it done, and, you know, no particular system. They can kind of go at their own will. It makes it tough the way they play the game. And when you got an exceptional guard like Ball who can score and loosen up the defense like that, it makes it tough. But they're young. Like Rob said, they got energy. I'm not saying that we're old, but you know, we need to have some energy to match some of these younger teams. They've been in LA, you know, all they've been thinking about is, yeah, We're gonna play in the Clippers. There we got the Lakers, and it's a big game when they come here. So just
also you got to understand those 4 players. All top 10 picks, I think. What was Bridges? Bridges like what, 7 or 8 when he was drafted?
And you got LaMelo, who's top 3.
Yeah. And that goes to show you how that youth is kind of catching up, and that shows you that youth is kind of inconsistent.
Yes,
So,
of course.
Yeah.
Listen, that third quarter, I think this is what surprised me. The Lakers had that bad second. You expected them to come out and have a better third, which they did, but it was the Hornets and LaMelo Ball that scored 40 in that third quarter, and that's when LaMelo really woke up. I mean, he finished with 30 points, 9 threes, and 11 assists. Here's the thing, guys. With the Lakers and a back-to-back coming up on the weekend, you go to Portland, come home and play a tough Toronto team who's top 5 in the Eastern Conference, and then you have that 8-game road trip that's kind of looming where you got Clippers, Denver, and just to name a couple. They had a stretch here. 4 teams, 3 of them at home, under 500. They went 1-3.
Yeah,
did not take advantage, Rob.
You got to take advantage. I know James and I have been screaming this for the last 13 seasons. That you got to beat the teams you should beat, and you got to come out with that energy.
And it was something they were doing really well, Rob.
Yeah, it was something they were doing well at the beginning of the season. And I think the injuries is catching up with them. You think that, this is part of the season where your body starts getting tired because you're looking at that All-Star break that's coming up where you can rejuvenate yourself. And I think tonight was one of those nights where you played so good 2 nights ago with all the energy and all the effort, and you expected to have that same energy, and it just wasn't there. You think about how Luka only shot the ball, once in the second half?
Second quarter. Yeah.
And that's not like Luka. And then you think about how, LeBron finally got his engine roaring in the fourth quarter, but it was a little too late. And it's a lot of things where you look at this team, you're like, okay, when we're going to put together 6 or 7 games where we play with the same energy, the same effort, and the same consistency, and that's how championship teams are molded, and that's what they do. And I don't think right now the way the inconsistencies and up and down the energy has anything to do with what the players are. I just think it's just about the injuries and the different lineups.
And also, let's be honest. I mean, it wasn't offense tonight. I mean, they shot 37% from 3, made 14 of them, put up 117 points, but you still lose by 18. James, defensively, like you said, you get into these track meet, these high-paced style games, it can wear you out a little bit.
And you depend on your success of being successful in the last 3 or 4 minutes. Clutch, they're pretty good. I think they had something like a 13-2 record in the clutch minutes, but you can't depend on that every time. You can't depend on getting down and then having to fight your way out of a deficit. The other thing is too, there are no excuses in this league. But like LeBron wasn't supposed to play in not this game, but the game before this. Okay, he decided to play because we don't have enough players we don't have Austin Reeves. We're getting Gabe back. So they haven't had, guys together to kind of feel that chemistry, but still they have to be able to play defense. Anybody can play defense. You're not going to get the free throws from Austin Reeves. You're not going to get the points. But you got to defend. And, I think that's something that a role player, anybody can do that.
Yeah, and getting out rebounded by 15, Rob. I mean, 14 of those were offensive. That led to 15 points. And they came at crucial times when the Lakers were back in that game. You and I were watching.
That fourth quarter, we were like, no, we back. Oh, no. It was like up and downs, a lot of highs and lows because they were making a defensive stand. But in my breakdown, what I say, the defense is not over until you secure that rebound. They played great defense, contested shots, but they weren't getting the offensive rebound. And a lot of that has to do with mismatches. And you get that in an NBA game because you think about it, everybody switches now. And Charlotte's big was so smart. He said, you know what? I ain't going to get there's no plays ran for me. I'm just going to bury this big and use my size and get the offensive rebound. What did he do? He kicked it back out. They knocked down a 3. And that's the one thing that you have to give them credit for. When you have that mismatch that you want on the offensive side with whoever's handling the ball, that's perfect because I'm just going to take you to the middle of the cup, man. My guy's going to shoot it, and I'm going to be in position to rebound.
All right, well, let's show you the highlights. Lakers taking on the Hornets. Lakers hit 14 threes, but the Hornets go 20 of 43. Let's hear from Luka Doncic. He's at the podium.
Luka, where
JJ, a lot of talk about the defense right there, Rob. I mean, the personnel is what it is. He says it's not like we're not trying, but they do have breakdowns, and you do get attacked by some of these teams that can get into the paint and beat you on the perimeter. So How do you change that? What is there a quick fix?
You know, it's no quick fix. Because until everybody gets healthy, then you're going to have a quick, you know, it might not get talked about, but these are the nights where you miss Jackson Hayes. When DA comes out, who's your other big that's even capable of blocking any shots? Nobody. So when you have to have that, you know, JJ said that his back line of defense was awful. So that has a lot to do with your rotation. I mentioned that where you rotate so much and you get those smaller guys on that back line of defense, when you get past those bigs, with the ball penetration, there's nobody back there to deter you from making that shot. And so I think the game plan that Charlotte had was pretty smart. And I think it can be fixed, but you got to get healthy before it can be fixed.
I mean, we're 39 games in, though, and they've been completely healthy only 3 of those games. So that's a tough and tall order. There are games to overcome, but you got to collectively find a way.
This is the NBA. Nobody's going to feel sorry for you. And, you know, you have to find a way to connect the players you have now. Rob's right. Having Hayes out, we talked about energy, but still, the next man up's got to try to just do the best he can until these guys get back. That's all you can do. But it does disrupt the harmony. It disrupts the coaching staff and how they could play players in minutes. And when you're not shooting the ball well, and you having a team to come in as high, it just compounds it. So it's an uphill battle, but hey, got to go to work.
Do you have something else?
No.
Okay. 29 points from LeBron James as the Lakers lose ahead of the Suns in that play-in. And guys, after this weekend, you're going to be at the halfway point of this season. You'll be 41 games in. Because of their great start, they have bought themselves some room, but that is quickly fading. Because since December 20th, if I go back that far, it's almost a month, the Lakers are 5-8 in their last 13. So, Rob, not too late at all to turn it around. You still have half the games left of this season, but these standings have gotten tighter, definitely. And these kind of games now, every single one matters.
Yeah, I think the one team that I was like, okay, they're gonna have a bad year out of that group was Minnesota, but they've caught fire. You know, they turned it around. And
too much talent.
Yeah, and you look at the schedule coming up in February, it's kind of rough. And the way this team is constructed and the way their schedule is, it's not going to do them any favors. You know, you think about we got the oldest man in the league on our team, and they pretty much play every other night. Yeah. So you got a lot of guys that's going to be coming back from injuries. Do you have time to implement them in practice? Do you have time to implement them in the system that's going to get them in shape, game shape to play? So it's a rough schedule that's coming up. But the thing about it is, you know, LeBron talks about it. It's a mindset. You're going to have to get your mind right and say, yo, you know, we can't look at our schedule. We got to look at ourselves and do what we're supposed to do to contend for in each and every game and play hard and try to position ourselves where we do have home court advantage at least one round in the playoffs.
Such a great point about that mindset, because it is our job. Of course, fans are going to feel this way. We are going to ride that roller coaster at 5-8. The Lakers need to tackle what's in front of them game by game, James. LeBron always says you can't get too high with the wins and you can't get too low with the losses.
You can't, and you have to stay in the moment. And, you know, sometimes you can break it down to, look, we got to win this quarter. Let's concentrate on this quarter. Let's concentrate on not turning the ball over. Second quarter, remind yourself again. You might have to simplify it and just talk to one another. Like Rob said, you know, we used to hold people accountable, and it was good. It was positive. It was constructive. So when, you know, when things are going sour out there, they're getting a lot of offensive rebounds, the defense is not connected. Someone's got to, I know Marcus Smart does, he kind of speaks up a little bit, but someone has to speak up, and that's what brings the team closer together. And when you have that, you can win without some players with some injuries, but they're just not connected in any way on the defensive end right now.
All right, well, let's head back to the arena. Marcus Smart's at the podium.
Games are, you know, carrying his load and helping the team when they need it and making right decisions. When he's on the floor, so it's just still amazing. Yeah,
I think you're right, by the way. I think starting Sunday, it's every other day.
Yeah.
For the next 8 or 9 games, if memory serves me correctly.
Yeah, it's a brutal haul. And I try to think about when we played, if we ever had to play every other night, we at least get 2 nights off in there. And you think about this road trip, even though it's a Clipper game that's in there, it's still on the road, and your mindset has to be totally different when you play on the road. You know, you're not in that comfortable situation as you are at home. So This is a true test of who the Lakers are this next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
You know, they need to come out of this above 500 on this stretch. If they don't, they're going to find themselves in a position they don't want to be.
10-game stretch, just over 2 weeks.
Yeah, they're going to have to come out 6-4. If they come out 5-5, that's going to put them down in maybe a 7 or 8 seed.
Go 6-4, then have Austin back, All-Star break coming.
Yeah, so yeah, it's tough.
I like that breakdown, Rob.
Yeah, the mind got to be right though, Gita. They got to get that mind right.